My name is Evgeny. I'm co-founder of Fluence, and I'm going to talk to you about what we do at Fluence. And essentially, we're building a decentralized cloud computing network, which is alternative to centralized cloud computing networks like Amazon AWS or Google or Azure. And it's also kind of DePIN network. It's a decentralized physical infrastructure network because we're aggregating compute resources globally from providers that basically have servers in data centers. And we are building cloud services on top and giving access to customers, to developers, to these services. So it's open, permissionless network, protocol, marketplace, which is available for everyone and which sort of secures the verifiable in terms of resources and computations. A couple of points about centralization. I think it's more or less obvious for people on these events, on like a crypto, blockchain related events, that we have monopolization in the cloud space. And around 70% of the cloud space is owned by three big companies, Amazon, Google, and Microsoft. And a lot of people are happy about that because, there's a thing called vendor lock-in. Basically, when you start building on the cloud, you start using their services, their proprietary services, and over time you get locked in terms of the switching cost out of the cloud if you want to leave is higher than keep paying them, and they can increase the prices like as much as they can, as much as they want, and basically prevent you from leaving. And so that's why people, think that there should be alternatives, open source, open alternatives, and this is what we built. And with AI is actually things, it's from a little different perspective, but things even more monopolized because, 90% of modern AI LLMs being trained and run on NVIDIA chips. And, there are some research and alternative chip manufacturers right now building. And there is some progress, but still the state of things is it's very monopolized, and it's quite dangerous in terms of like a overall growth of the ecosystem. So also our reliance on compute as a humanity growing like dramatically. Like we cannot live without digital services already, and with AI it gets even higher, and we basically need more and more compute resources every day and every year. The growth of usage of compute resources is insane the last couple of years, and is driven by AI massively, but it's also like a non-AI sector of the cloud and of the compute usage also is growing because we have more and more devices that generate more and more data. It needs to be processed, it needs to be aggregated, processed on device, processed on the backend in the cloud, and so on and so forth. So more compute is needed for, if we keep moving the same direction as humanity to sort of digitalization. But then if you look at the prices and the cost of compute, which we get it right now from the big corporations, they actually include quite huge margins into their pricing. So the actual cost of hardware is not as much. If you have sort of the business model where you want to have a break even for like when you buy hardware and rent it out, and when you break even in 1.5 or 2 years, which is more or less reasonable, the price that you're able to give is much lower than the price that cloud charges you. And they just have this monopolized position, so they can really charge you much more, because they have brand reputation, because they have so many services included for sure. But, in terms of billing, like in terms of your cloud bill, that's, there's a lot of potential to reduce it. So this is what we are trying to achieve. We're trying to democratize access to compute for people by building this new protocol. So this is slide about Fluence. So we are aggregating all providers. It's like Airbnb for compute providers. You can see all the available resources you can rent. You can pay with stable coins, the protocol managed by the DAO, and it's right now only enterprise grade hardware. So because we actually want to build real alternative to the cloud, we do not accept to network some home servers or laptops or mobile devices. It's not like that. It's a professional servers with great performance. Staying is top tier data centers globally, and we connect more providers, but they have to follow these criteria. They have to be able to provide reliable hardware. So this is our current ecosystem. We supported by top VCs in crypto space. We also partnering with a lot of projects in Web3. We have friends with Filecoin, with Huddle, Spheron. A lot of also projects presented today and during India Blockchain Week, and expanding this network. Some metrics. The most interesting part is that we have actually quite a lot of compute hardware committed by providers to a network, but it's not yet available on the network because we are trying to scale it slowly and gradually, validating the reliability, validating the SLAs and performance. Also we are trying to, make sure that, demand matches the supply. So we don't want to have a huge network of, a lot of supply without demand and vice versa, right? We don't want to have too much demand that we cannot match. So that requires some, operational, manual slow scale. One of the important parts of Fluence protocol is we call it proof of capacity, which is sort of cryptoeconomics system that makes sure that hardware that was announced by providers as connected to a network actually exists, and also we can measure the performance of this hardware. So basically, when our providers connect servers, the servers start doing the work, start running proof of capacity, which basically, and they generate proofs regularly with it, and they submit it on chain. They've been validated on chain, and this way we know that this server of certain performance, and it exists right now on the network, and the protocol grants some FLT rewards to the servers. So whenever a customer wants to run this server, we know that it exists right now, and we know its exact performance. So the server starts earning payment from the customer. But when it's idle, it earns Fluence token rewards. So we basically provide this, constant revenue for providers in either Fluence tokens or stable coins coming from customers. There are some, parameters of the protocol, some a staking. There is a staking required to activate servers to make this protocol secure, which generates token rewards for stakers and for compute provider. We launched staking pool recently together with Parasail. Parasail is also a staking pool operator for Filecoin. It basically allows you to stake any amount of tokens to the pool and don't really go deep into the staking directly to the protocol, because staking directly to the protocol requires certain amounts of minimal FLT per server. Here you can stake any amount, you get a liquid token that you also can use in the future in DeFi protocols and other yield generation protocols. Our roadmap is we launched mainnet this year. We launched the DAO. We started with Cloudless functions that basically based on WebAssembly. Then we launched staking, and in 2 or 3 weeks we launch in virtual machines, which is our alternative to Amazon EC2 product. Basically instances, virtualized instances where you can run any kind of code, Web3 nodes, blockchain nodes, backends, databases, and we're gonna have GPU servers as well, so we'll be able to run AI workloads on it. And we will deliver containers because it's a similar, but some people prefer containers for some use cases. Some people prefer VMs for some use cases. So basically virtual machines is something that is coming. We are releasing it in roughly 3 weeks. We have a booth right there, and we have more information about virtual machines there. We have alpha program. Oh yeah, this is pricing actually. Yeah, once again, so this is compared how low the pricing is for these virtual machines if you rent them from us. And then so we have a alpha program for early testing of virtual machines. If you fill this form, you scan this QR code to fill the short form, we will add you to waitlist, and we onboarding people in batches to try to be the first to try virtual machines. We give some, free credits. It's not as huge amounts of credits that big clouds give you, but that's still some money to try and experiment with it. We are, appreciate all the feedback, and we'll be, in touch with you on to make sure that your experience using these VMs is the best. Because we're really trying to build a reliable alternative to the cloud, like real alternative. That's why like SLAs and support and reliability and availability is super important besides pricing. So we pay a lot of attention to it. And the last thing is we still have the airdrop available. So when we launched the token, we announced the developer airdrop to contributors of Web3 repositories, open source repositories. So we allocated to airdrop to 100,000 developers, and a lot of people already claimed it. It's still available. It's the amount you can claim halves every 3 months, so it's less now than it was initially. But you still, if you're eligible, you should go to claim.fluence.network and check it, and maybe you have some FLT tokens allocated to you. And that's the last slide. Thank you so much. That's it.